From the Oyster Cellar in beautiful springtimey downtown Seattle, it's the Dinnernet, the official podcast of the Seattle Supersonics. You'll see what we mean.
Our guest today is Jhonny Reyes, chef and owner of Lenox, an Afro-Latin and Nuyorican restaurant and bar in Belltown. Jhonny, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
What's up, Johnny?
Hi, how you guys doing?
We're doing good. We like your hat and shirt.
I also have the logo.
You got the Seattle logo.
You got the tattoo.
You're repping Seattle
Yeah,
hard.
I know. It's kind of like
Yeah. What are you, from Seattle or something?
yeah, something like that. Early regret.
Do you regret it, really?
No, I mean I regret all my tattoos, but at the same time,
That's what you're supposed to do, right?
yeah, exactly. And at the time I didn't, but this one was like, I'm 18. I finally get to break out.
Sure,
and
it's your favorite thing.
Yeah, but also I do love Seattle, and I love the Space Needle. So
Yeah, you'll see it on the YouTube video, but Jhonny is resplendent in Sonics gear. He's got a hat and a T-shirt.
yes,
Both
yes.
Sonics logos
Yes.
repped.
He's repping.
I know. I haven't gone all the way back to the 2008, but the latest. Oh.
There's time. There's still time.
Yeah.
How was your week, Johnny?
My week was good.
Yeah?
It was hectic.
Yeah.
Low reservations at the restaurant.
Okay.
And
Really?
then- yeah, but the walk-ins were crazy. Or people made last-minute reservations. That's like a really big thing. They make day of. So like Wednesday, I think we had like 11 on the books. And we're like, okay, it's gonna be dead. We're gonna prep all day and do all this stuff. And then it just like turned out to be like a Thursday, like a Friday or Saturday.
Yeah. People heard you were going to prep, and they're like,
Yeah.
it's time to go.
I was like,
I'm gonna fuck him up.
So, it was good. You know, we had, that's what happened last week. Yeah, I was sick the week before, almost all week, with the flu because I have kids.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
Yeah, and so.
And so you have the flu.
Yeah, no, and when they get sick, they get like gnarly, vicious sicknesses, and they
Yeah.
hand them off to us. And I was told by one of my sous chefs to protect the restaurant by not coming into work. So
Protect.
he was like, last
Protect
time
your
you
neck.
did, yeah,
I mean,
last
the
time,
restaurant.
last time I guess everybody's sick, and I was like, they're like, it's damn kids. And I was
Yeah.
but it's good. But then this week, other people were sick, not my fault. And so, you know, me and my sous chef had to pick up a little bit extra slack, so we were hustling, but it was good. It was a fun week.
Good.
Cool.
What'd you do all week, Mark?
Oh, I worked a lot, but then when I was done, one of the places I went was the Seattle Arts and Lectures event at Town Hall,
Oh, great.
which had Hanif Abdurraqib,
Okay.
and he was moderated by Robert Lashley, who is a local poet and author. Are you familiar with him, Meg?
I know the name.
Yeah, he's from Tacoma.
Okay.
Heard of it.
Yeah, and
Been there.
both of those two are fascinating. They both write pretty poignantly about place and loss of place and a lot of cultural critique. So it was a pretty fascinating and amazing.
What an erudite thing to do.
Yeah, I like to think of myself as a little erudite.
What, are you smart or
but
something?
but I have to admit, I'm very new to both of those two.
Okay.
You know, like, I'm not super duper familiar with their whole over. But I also went to Here Today this weekend. They had this event called Best Buds. It was a event where they brought together a bunch of different local breweries to kind of collectively show off their beer. They had some makers in there. Gray Kaufman was there making espresso
great.
drinks.
They're great.
Yeah, they're fantastic. And I had a espresso they were making called a Sakura Sprota.
Okay.
And
Don't talk too much about it, because do you want to put it in the things
Oh
I
yeah,
ate
maybe
it?
maybe I'll put it in the
Hold on.
excited. Yeah.
Make them listen to the end. Yeah.
No, we like Here
Exactly.
Today, so we I think we have a collaboration coming up with them. So
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fantastic place. And that was just a really fun event. They had karaoke later on. And
of course.
Oh,
that
yeah.
too. And then I went to Bothell for my mom's birthday. So happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday,
Shout out.
Maggie DeJoy.
Yeah. What did you do, Meg?
I ordered a greenhouse kit, and then we had to put it together, which is why I didn't get one earlier, because we got about a quarter of the way through. Mostly Steven.
Yeah.
Mostly Steven did it, and I held the end of the two pieces of shitty aluminum as he was trying to bolt them together with the
was there swearing involved?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were looking forward to it for that reason.
Just drop some
So-
F-bombs. And
Yeah.
It's the cheapest possible greenhouse, but the plants don't care.
Exactly.
There's about 5 different warnings to do it this way and that way, and strap it down or the wind will blow it away, and they're not liable for death or injury.
Wow.
We'll get it together.
Yeah.
We have plans.
No
I planted rose bushes around where I want it to be, so it'll have some support.
Okay.
All right.
Little barrier.
Yeah, that's cool.
I took the cat to the vet again. Do you guys know the saga of this fucking cat that I found in the alley?
Oh no.
Yeah, tell
So
the
I found
people.
a cat. It's not a sad story. It's just stupid. Found a cat in the alley. It kept showing up on my camera, and I'm like, "Who's this cat? Where'd this cat come from?" And then I saw it in the daylight one day, and I asked my neighbor across the alley, "You've seen this cat before?" And he goes, "Oh, the neighbors moved away and left her behind." And I was like, "What?" Because I already have 3 cats, and I love cats. And he goes, "My wife's been feeding her tuna, but we have dogs, so we can't take her in." And I was like, "Give her to me." Fluffy black cat with a little white on her throat.
Oh, cute.
I named her Paloma because I met a hot chick named Paloma that weekend. I was like, "That's a cool name." And then she turned out to be a boy.
Oh,
And so then we were calling her Paul.
I like that.
And then we were like, that's kind of a serious name for a silly little cat. And so then we started calling her Pasha, which is like the Russian nickname for Paul. Anyway, we took him to get neutered, and they said he's a monorchid. He only has 1 ball. And we were like, great, cut it off. And then they did. And then he started spraying in the house and caterwauling because he's like a teenager, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, there must be another one in there somewhere. So like we've taken him to the vet 3 times since
He has a
to
hidden.
do ultrasounds, and they couldn't find it.
And
So
I've had multiple cats, and I know that stage of life, and it gets it's a little
It's
funky.
stinky
Yeah,
in
it's
my
a little
house. I'm gonna
funky.
have to like order a cleaning team. Anyway, Steven just texted me. Good news, they found the other testicle.
Oh, how about that? They found Waldo.
Yeah, we had to hire like a radiographer to fucking find it. But breaking
that's
news,
respect. For a cat that you
Pasha's,
found is like, that's a lot. So
Pasha's phantom testicle has been discovered, and we're gonna cut it off, and then my house will smell good, hopefully.
Here's the
I have
back.
a cat, I had a cat, and he lives in the neighborhood now. But I guess a neighbor fed him tuna.
Okay.
And
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, and
They'll do
he
anything
was
for
like,
tuna.
"Oh, this is cool." So I see him now, but I'm like, "You're my cat," but he doesn't live with me anymore. So
He belongs to the world.
yeah, so
So Jhonny, you own Lenox,
I do.
if anyone isn't clear on that. And you opened about a year ago, yeah?
Yeah, we opened on June 5th.
Oh, that's coming on up.
Coming on up.
What has the first year been like for you?
It's been eye-opening.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. It's been eye-opening. It's been really, really fun. Also, some of the most stress that I've ever experienced. But also, I get to do it with my best friends. And so that's like really the greatest part, is because I can get as mad as I need and I can get as sad as I need. And, they always respect me either way. So we're, kind of doing this together, and it's been a lot of fun. So.
You can tell the truth.
Yeah, we can.
No one's going to sue you.
Yeah, they can tell you to protect the restaurant.
Yeah, right.
No, and everybody's in it to win it. And
Yeah.
they've been waiting for me to do this because they knew that I was going to be at least the first one to try. So that's why I love them so much. And so shout out to my team.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long have you been in Seattle?
Oh, man, too long. My family is originally from New York City, hence the Nuyorican food. And we've been out here since 95, 94, 95.
Okay.
So
Longest time.
yeah.
You were really little when you moved here.
Yeah, very little.
Okay.
I moved to Fremont neighborhood. Where's that corner that Agrodolce used to be there? Okay. And then across the street, there's an apartment complex, and that's where we moved to. So I used to run around that area a lot.
And you went to high school here, and you're a Seattle guy.
Yeah, Seattle guy.
A lot of people are like, oh, he's from Spanish Harlem. He just landed.
No.
But you grew up here. Yeah.
Yes, I
You're
grew
a
up in Seattle.
Person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, deep local ties.
Yeah. And you worked in a million different restaurants as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No culinary school experience, so I decided to hop around. And then I think we talked at a different point in time, and I said that I got into it, because I needed this or that. But visual learning is also a big thing, to
totally.
it too. And I was like, I could actually do this because I don't teach it.
I feel like that's better than college because it's your job and you have to do it. So you better learn it because you got bills to pay. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've been cooking in the city for, I'm going to say 19, but I tell people maybe 21 years. So
you cook for Terry Rodero. You cook for all kinds of people.
yeah, I cook for Terry Rodero, Matt Lewis, Erica Burke. Yeah, a lot of.
What's that neighborhood restaurant that you both know, the Italian place that you worked in
Pizzuto's.
high school? Pizzuto's.
Pizzuto.
You worked at Pizzuto's.
Yeah, I worked
yeah?
at Pizzuto's. That's my
your
first job.
Oh my God, I love that place.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites as well.
Yeah.
When I was interviewing you for that Seattle Magazine story that's coming out top of May, I just learned that today. It's going to be in print.
Ooh, beautiful.
You talked about Pizzuto's, and I was like, Mark fucking loves that place.
I grew up literally 3 blocks away from there.
Amazing.
So, in Seward Park. So that was my first job. It was the place. I went to Franklin High School to start my high school career,
Oh, I did too.
and that's where all of the Franklin kids that lived in that area would work. So they got me a job there, and it's the rest is history. I go back there sometimes, like randomly, and this is maybe 10 years out from seeing these people, and they still remember me, and they're so sweet.
I love it.
That's good Seattle shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really love it. So, I mean, I took my wife there when we were first dating, and she was like, "Why are you taking me here?" And I'm like, "Because it's family here. These people are dope."
Yeah. When you're there, you're family.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and it's just good. It's just good, you know, mom and pop Italian food, and you can't hate on it. So,
Nice.
And there really isn't a lot of mom and pop Italian food, Italian American food in that sort of way in this town, because it's not really part of the general local DNA for the most part.
I guess not. I'm thinking of like indie-owned Italian spots like Bizzarro or Serafina, but it's not quite a mom pop aesthetic.
Yeah, it's sort of like a post-gourmet aesthetic, right?
It's just a restaurant owner who's owned it for a long time, but also owns still
like,
a
I'm looking
restaurant
for a
group.
good spaghetti meatballs. And
Yeah,
like,
it's the building of I-90 displaced a lot of the old school Italian American community in Seattle, and so that's where you don't see a lot of places. Like there was this sort of resurgence once Italian food got sort of recast as this kind of gourmet thing you get in like a hotel restaurant or something like that in the 70s.
Yeah.
So we have the 70s sort of marsala sauce and all that kind of stuff, but we don't have like the deep, long simmered red sauce. And people kind of like think of that pejoratively and associate it with a Olive Garden for the most part. But I thought Pizzuto was like a made up name when I first cruised by.
It kinda
no,
sounds
it's
like
a
an
family.
insult.
It's a family.
Their name literally is Pizzuto.
It makes me think of Cornudos, which is an insult.
I worked for Corey, and he was a fun guy. So first job to get fired from.
Oh my! Are you serious? Why did you get fired?
Because I was very immature at that time, obviously, because I was in high school. But
Yeah.
there was a misconception on what my schedule was, and I was spending the night at a friend's house, and I think it was maybe the second time that I had missed a shift, and we parted ways on good terms, you know, so obviously.
You're fired. We love you, but you're fired.
It was for the better because I ended up working at Zeke's Pizza, which was closer to where I was going to school later. I went to the center school,
Nice.
so I worked at the Zeke's Pizza there, and then it actually catapulted my career into kind of the more restaurant world because I was closer to Belltown.
Yeah.
So I worked at Branzino,
Yeah.
Nice.
and so
Branzino is Karaga Setsuna, yeah?
on
that corner.
Yeah. And I worked for Ashley Merriman, and she was on Top Chef.
Yeah.
And this was
she's
before
married
she
to
was on Top
Gabrielle
Chef.
Hamilton now, yeah?
And she was amazing and super nice to me and always treated me like
Nice.
the most respect. So after that I was like, oh, I think food is like cool.
Yeah.
Like you can be badass and like cook all this stuff, and then you get to drink afterwards.
And you get to eat it.
Yeah.
Then you get to eat it too. So
I wanted to ask you what it's like for you to be in Belltown because. Specifically because I think that people tend to think that Belltown isn't a dining destination, which is crazy to me as someone who's been in the city for forever. That
And
was
who
like,
lives in Belltown.
that was the spot.
That was the center of Seattle dining in the 2000s.
Yeah, I
And-
mean, I started working there early 2000, 2009, 2010. I graduated 2008, but it's a great place to eat, and there's always been food. The gastropub scene was really popular back then. Tavolata and I worked.
Brasa?
Brasa. I worked at the Black Bottle for a really long time.
Yeah.
And there
Spur was over there.
yeah, so there was like so many cool places that you could go eat. I mean, also you could go get sushi, and that you could never go wrong there.
Yeah.
It's always been a good spot. After Second Avenue kind of got bombed out,
Yeah.
it kind of like put a big hindrance on what people thought the food scene was in Belltown. But
For sure.
we definitely, when that spot opened up, I was like, I think this is a prime opportunity to bring food to the area and kind of see what we could do in bringing that resurgence back. Because I know that there's some good restaurants down there and the whole area is really nice, but there's a really good bar scene down there right now.
For
and
sure.
So we're just like, trying to hype up the restaurant area and stuff like that, especially that far down because we're really quiet.
Yeah. If anyone doesn't know, you're in kind of a historic place, which is formerly Marco's Supper Club and also the Innkeeper.
Woo woo.
And you pointed out something I didn't realize which is that it's been kind of Latin Caribbean over time, like consistently.
Yes.
Yeah.
It
You're
has the
keeping with the
spirit.
theme.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Jerk Shack was the
And
previous
Jerk Shack,
occupant,
for
right?
Christ's sake.
Yes,
That's
Jerk
the other.
Shack
I'm like,
was
what's the
the-
other one? Yeah.
Totally. So yeah, really long lineage of fantastic places in
Yeah.
that spot.
Yeah, it's been fun, and it's always fun when you find like old signage or different receipts or something like that, or something, and you can see a different time.
Yeah.
So that's been really fun because I'm a big history buff. So,
Yeah,
you
right.
know.
Yeah, you're in
Us
good company
too.
there
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, I really do see you as part of a resurgence for the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to remember that it was once a dining destination because it was once and can be again.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people opened some of their first restaurants there. I mean, I feel like Serious Pie, was that down there?
Yeah.
That's my recollection.
Yeah, there was just so many cool new spots opening up down there, and you just wanted to just be down there. And I don't know if a lot of people get down there, but during the day when you smell that sea air and you get the sunlight, it's like kind of unmatched. So it's like,
It's just artistic too. I don't know. I just like walking down the street. And
Yeah,
like,
man,
even Cyclops. Like I
oh,
fucking
man.
love that Cyclops is still there, and you can just duck in and hang out with like the Gen X bar owners in their hoodies with their bar name on the back. They're all like in Sub Pop t-shirts or whatever. I love it. Yeah, it's a vibe.
That's cool. That's cool.
We have a question for you earlier.
Okay.
Mark and I were talking about Navy Strength, which we'll get to in a minute. And we were like, what the fuck was in that space? I feel like it was a liquor store or a wine store or something like that.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was.
That's my guess. If we were at like pub trivia, I would write wine store.
I would
with the question
probably say-
With a
mark.
question
That's-
mark,
yeah.
half a point. Yeah.
Exactly.
I was like, I'm trying to think really hard, but that was like a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if someone said it, we'd be like, of course.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
absolutely. Okay.
Belltown is like that with these sorts of traces of ghosts that you sort of haven't thought about in forever. And then someone mentions it and you're like, oh my God, yes.
What was the name of the sushi place that is in the former Bronzino now?
Yeah.
Setsuna spot that we went to all the time in like the early aughts.
Yeah, they had
Everyone
karaoke
was-
in the back room.
Exactly. And everyone would be like, meet me at,
Yes.
started with a K, I think. No idea.
God,
I can't remember.
Yeah.
But it was hot shit. That's
Yeah.
whatever it was called. I don't know.
Absolutely. That's probably where we ran into each other and didn't know it.
I'm
'Cause-
sure Mark and I met a million
Yeah.
times because we had a million different overlapping live journal friends.
Yeah.
Like scenes in Belltown. Yeah.
It's good. Seattle is like small, big, small.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's so funny because Seattle is a large city population-wise. Like if you look at the ranking of cities, people are always like, Seattle's a small town. Come from cities that are smaller in population than Seattle.
true.
But if you exist in a certain sphere, like if you're in an artistic sphere or a restaurant sphere or a music sphere, it will feel small. If you're in the tech sphere, obviously it's a large city.
For sure. Quickly, before we change the subject, I wanted to ask you about your food truck era because you were in White Center doing food truck for years and years. And that is what led up to Lenox, yeah?
Yes, that is what led up to Lenox. I worked at Future Primitive. They were kind enough to rent me their stationary food truck there, which now houses Farm Boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they do some serious burgers
Yeah.
and
Great burgers.
burger snacks. So they were good. That community, I just would love to just shout them out. That is one of the best communities that I've ever
In White Center.
Yeah, White Center
That's what
that
they
I've
all
ever
say.
experienced.
Yeah.
They're so family oriented, and they just come up. You get to meet all their kids, and you get to watch them grow up. Because I was there for 3 years,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it was like just really fun how often they came back, and they come to the restaurant sometimes too. But it's a little bit further. But they are so down for that area, and they will support the crap out of it. I've always been like, second location is dead serious in White Center.
Yeah.
So,
Very good.
Is that something that you're aspiring to then, to open a second?
yeah, I mean, everybody
Yeah.
has, wants to do something second. I mean, I would love to do something more fast casual and maybe even cafe-y,
Yeah.
like bodega-y style.
Yeah.
But I have, since I've been doing this with my friends, we also have ideas to, how to expand too. So,
You have that killer lunch menu that people need to know about.
yeah, that's what people are saying. I'm still trying to fine tune it to make it what I think it should be, but it's hard because I don't know what the area necessarily wants quite yet.
Sure.
Some days we'll sell only egg dishes, and then other days we'll sell all the sandwiches. Lately, it's been less on the sandwiches. It seems like people want more of the lunch, so I'm just like,
Interesting.
yeah, I'm like, I'll give you the plates. So
Can you talk about your food in general, both the lunch menu and the dinner menu?
Yeah.
Because I tell everyone that lechon was my meal of the year last year. Like it's very exciting and
Yeah.
unique food.
Yeah.
And just sort of your,
Well, we do Afro-Latin food or comida criolla. It has a lot of African influence and also a lot of Spanish influence and, native influence from the island. So there's a lot of reds and rich spices and warmings. It's really tasty. And so, yeah,
what are your favorite dishes that you like to cook?
my favorite dishes, I mean, right now, I love to cook the mofongo, which is our mashed plantain dish. And it comes with red sauce and shrimp on it. But it's just so simple. And I used to hate it, which is really funny because I used to never like eating it, but I knew how important it was. And, you know, everybody loves it. And every time you go someplace, he's like, how was the mofongo? And
Yeah,
I'm
right.
Like,
It's the litmus test.
I don't like it. But you know, after, you know, working with for so long, you find out, you're like, oh, I do like this. It's like, maybe I just haven't had it the way that I wanted it. And I think that's just I think that's the fun of being able to do this food, is trying to make it my way, I guess you could say,
Sure.
but also stay true to, you know, my family and the history and culture of my people and stuff like that.
I remember when looking at your truck menu, there was always a pollo frito.
Yeah.
And that
fried
seems
chicken.
like that's important to your menu no matter where you go.
I loved a fried chicken sandwich, just a fried chicken sandwich in general.
Yeah.
But I think this whole thing started during the pandemic, and there was a big craze. All the fast food chains were doing chicken sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like a competition to see who had the best. And it
Yeah.
was like Popeyes and, you know, Burger King and all that stuff. And I was like, I can make a better chicken sandwich than all of those people. And I was like, I feel like the world should know about a better chicken sandwich. And so that was kind of like the kickoff of that. But I just think that we just do it really uniquely.
Yeah.
So,
What do you do to it? You're
just
like, I'm not going to tell you.
yeah, I can't tell you all the secrets, but we just have a really special brine, and then we do a good dredge on it that's light, like nice and light. We don't use buttermilk, you know, so it doesn't burn, and it's just a really light coating of flour as well. You don't do the double, so it's not like you're trying to crunch through all this, you know, breading before you get to the meat. It's really just focusing on the protein itself, I guess you could say.
Good philosophy.
Yeah. Keep it simple.
Yeah. Well, Meg, is it news time?
It's probably news time, but it's also unboxing time. But I realized I also brought wine again, and I don't have wine glasses. So why don't you talk about something interesting for about 10 seconds while I grab the glasses?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we can manage that.
All right. Well, Jhonny, is there a menu item that you think people sleep on at Lenox?
No, everybody, they destroy us. I think like we need to fix our pars, because maybe we're just bad with it. But you know, we have a gem salad, and
Yes. Oh my God, that's so good.
yeah, and a lot of people don't get it, and I think it's a really nice, refreshing side to have with a lot of our rich foods.
Absolutely.
So, and it's like, I don't think people understand why we have it, but it's, if you ever go to Puerto Rican or Cuban or like those kinds of restaurants, you get a side salad, and it's usually like mixed greens, fresh tomato, and red onion, and a vinaigrette. And everybody's always asked me, they're like, what are vegetables when you go eat at, you know, these restaurants? Like, what are you going to put on the menu that are vegetables? And for so long, I would always joke and be like, the side salad. Everybody knows the side salad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so we decided to make it fun, and so we, you know, did pickled cherry tomatoes.
So good.
Which
Those are so good.
Yeah, and it helps us do them out of season.
Right.
So that's always it. That's always the mindset too. And then they always had avocado on the salad as well, obviously. So we did avocado puree, and then pickled red onions and breadcrumbs and cheese, and we kind of like. I've always wanted a Caesar salad on the menu, but
Really?
but I can't push myself to actually put a Caesar salad on the menu, because then everyone's gonna be like, why are you putting a Caesar?
Right.
So I try to create a Caesar salad the best I could, using ingredients that I know are like usually used for that kind of salad. So
I'd also like to call out the Tres Hermanas,
yeah.
which is incredible. And let me see if I can remember what's in it. It's summer squash,
Yep.
zucchini, it's green beans, or haricot vert.
yeah, haricot vert.
And pickled. Are there pickled cherries or pickled cherry tomatoes?
There's pickled cherries in
The
there.
menu says cherries, and I was like,
But it changes
are.
seasonally, right? Like the
Yeah.
components swap out.
Yeah, they'll swap out sometimes. We
And
usually,
corn, of course.
Yes, and corn,
'Cause it's the
obviously.
three sisters,
It's the
yeah.
three sisters. But yeah, we'll use. I mean, we try to use as seasonal as we can. But that salad is so near and dear to us, and is a hot seller that we will buy the zucchini out of season.
it's about to be zucchini season anyway.
Yeah,
And then
so-
you will have it coming out your ears.
Yeah, and then we get to use patty pans and, you know, like all these different
Yeah.
varieties. So you'll see it, and then we use different beans.
And it's perched on that sort of pool of beautiful green goddess dressing, which is so creamy and
That's
luminous.
good. We love that green goddess.
God, it's so good.
Yeah.
I
But
couldn't
you-
even, like, what's in it?
Yeah,
This and that.
Tons of herbs. Actually, we were just laughing the other day because we were like, do people just call green goddess like whatever they want these days? Because like I feel like traditionally you make green goddess with tarragon and yogurt, but we definitely don't do either of those things. It's funny because we just use cilantro and parsley and garlic And then we make a cane vinegar using piloncito and distilled vinegar, and we like cook it down so it's sweet and stuff like that. And it's just really good.
People should not skip that on the
Yeah.
Lenox menu. It's important. Like
then-
you look at it and you're like, squash and beans and corn, I don't get it, but you want it.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I guess the secret ingredient, and I hate to say it, but it's Duke's mayo.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
And I will shout out Duke's mayo till I die.
Yeah. Even as a West Coaster, you fuck with Dukes.
Yeah, all day. And I literally found a store that had it the other day, and I was like, man, I'll throw out all the mayo at the home.
Oh, well, who's your Duke's Mayo plug?
Merlinos.
Oh,
no way. All right.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
They got
Did
it?
I just? Everybody's gonna
We
get the
cut
Duke's
that.
mayo.
Edit it out. All right. Well,
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
I finally retrieved the shitty wine. So
Okay.
I was
Tell us.
at the grocery outlet to get the treat, and I saw the wine that my mom likes. So my mom is 78, and she loves shitty wine. And if you bring her good wine, she doesn't like it. She wants super sweet wine. And so she likes the Soldiers of Fortune wine
Yeah.
that costs $4.99, but she
Yes.
only likes the Pinot Grigio, and they only had the Pinot Noir. So let's try it.
Yeah.
It smells like Kool-Aid.
Yeah, if you see the YouTube video, Jhonny and I took a whiff at first, and we both recoiled at the same
It
time.
smells like it smells kind of brown and red.
Yeah,
it smells
I mean,
like
if I'm going to be honest, it reminds me of when I used to drink Carlos Rossi in high school.
yeah, yes.
sure.
That's my mom also drinks Carlos. Yeah.
Yeah, it tastes diluted.
Yeah,
It's,
It's not good.
But
It's not.
it'll get the job done.
That's true.
And I think
For
that's
$5.
for $5.
It's economical.
Yeah.
You could put like fruit in it and make a sangria or something if you
man.
needed to.
If you need
right?
to, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, if you were in a scenario where you needed just a base to just kind of riff off and
Yeah, you could
essentially-
cook with it.
Definitely,
Sure,
you could definitely cook with it for sure.
That's what I'll do. Note to self.
Yeah.
Notes of
I used to have a friend whose grandparents only drank box wine. And
Yeah.
Wow.
that was it, and it was Franzia. I'm pretty sure.
yeah. All right. So the real treat is something I think is probably going to be pretty good.
Okay.
It is Artisano Organics cashew cacao spread.
We're finally doing it. We've been threatening to
I've
try
been trying
this
to try
for
this
the
for a
last
while.
few.
We finally have it. It's because I didn't know what vehicle we needed. But
Yeah.
it turns out the vehicle for the cashew cacao spread is fake Danish butter cookies, which are also
Absolutely.
at the gross out,
Yeah.
which I wanted because I wanted the tin, obviously. There's a little starburst that says free of palm oil. What a relief.
Boy, that's like a lady doth protest too much
Yeah,
scenario.
really.
Like, I wasn't asking.
I
I
was
go,
like, I'm
nobody
good.
actually asked
I'll
you.
eat it either way. So.
Ingredients: organic cashews, organic coconut sugar, organic cacao powder, organic coconut oil, and organic coconut vanilla. Sounds good. I bet it's good.
yeah.
I'm into it. All of those
All right.
ingredients
Yeah.
sound
Okay.
worthwhile. And on a cookie. So
On a cookie.
And we're gonna use a
Yeah.
cookie.
Oh.
I am, though, recalling our crispy mochi slight
That shit
disaster
sucked.
from like, yeah.
that was
and
not good, and we thought it was gonna be
We
good.
thought it was going to be good. So I am
That's
am
true.
a little gun shy, just a little bit, just kind of like wary of, okay, well, just because it seems like it might be good, we don't exactly know.
It's good to question yourself.
I mean, you can't,
Exactly.
yeah, it's true. But also, it's just a spread. It's a spread.
It's
you
a
know?
spread.
I
How-
mean, mochi is hit or miss.
That's
like,
true.
You know, like
It
sometimes.
wasn't actually mochi. We were lied to. So
Yeah.
maybe it's not really a spread.
There you go.
Yeah, it's really funny to call that mochi when it doesn't have
It's a lie.
anything
I do love
resemble-
good spreads in jars, though. I was
were
just
fooled.
talking to my buddy the other day, and I was telling him, I was like, "Do you remember Smucker's peanut butter and jelly in a jar?" And he was like, "No." And I was like, "It was."
It was
Smucker's-
stripy.
Yeah, it was stripy.
Yeah,
and
right.
it was delicious. And he was like, "You ate that?" I was like, "Of course.
Yeah.
We all like."
You've never been a child,
Yeah.
sir? These smell so fake and not like butter. They
Oh
smell
no,
like
that's good. My dad used to house those.
Yeah. Like
right.
if Glade had a butter version.
Oh, look. So it looks like Nutella, basically.
Oh,
for
okay.
sure.
I sort of like the nutty appearance of it.
I fuck with this
Yeah.
so far.
I mean,
Oops.
I'm-
I don't want to get it on the podcast board, though.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right.
I'm into it. I'm actually really more excited about the cookies. I might have grabbed the wrong one though, because I like the pretzel-shaped ones.
You can grab whatever one you want. They all work.
I grab this rectangle.
I'm going to photo it.
I feel like the shape changes the flavor.
You know,
Probably right. Well, you're the chef, not me.
take it from a chef. The different shapes
I
of the
believe
butter
it.
cookies, the
Yeah,
different flavors.
it's definitely.
All right, here we go.
It's thick.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. It's like cashew butter.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a peanut butter like consistency.
I just got it all over my lips, and I realized there's no napkin anywhere. So
Aw.
I'm gonna be like a small child
No,
for
this
the rest of
is
this
your
episode.
life now. You have to do it in the selfie. You have to be a chocolate-faced child.
That's right.
I want it to be sweeter.
Yeah, I think that's my opinion too. There's a flatness to it.
Yeah, it's a lot of coconut products. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing. That's the thing I'm tasting the most is some coconut
coconutty.
flavor. Let me just.
tastes like when I do
I'm
my
slightly
diet.
disappointed, but I still like it.
Yeah, that works.
It'd be good in like ice cream or something, or like milkshake, you know?
Oh, a milkshake would be really good.
Letter
Yeah.
grade?
Letter grade,
I give it C.
B minus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, high C.
Like it's good.
Yeah.
It's not disgusting. It's just kind of,
Yeah, it gives an absence of bad to me more than anything else.
I think it's high quality. Like it's a high quality product, especially on the low quality cookie.
Yeah, sure.
It's fine, but
just,
yeah.
Yeah, I just kind of tasted a little bit of it by itself just to make sure that the cookie wasn't dragging it down in any way. But it still has, it just has a flatness to it.
It's a peanut butteriness. They could use
Well, it does
salt,
say
maybe.
It says cashew cacao spread. I probably would have said cacao cashew spread.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
And then-
Or even like coconut, cashew.
yeah, because there's a
Spread.
lot of coconut in here.
Just like not getting a whole lot of cocoa.
Yeah.
It's just the
It's
color.
cocoa colored, but
Yeah.
not cocoa.
All right.
All right. Now we
Well,
know.
hey, we got that.
That's some of the news. What
Yeah.
else we got?
We have so much news and there's so many closures.
It's all closures. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like the big ticket item is the Virginia Inn announcing that they will be permanently closing on April 27th.
Yeah.
They said our lease has been terminated by our landlord, the Pike Place Market PDA, due to failed negotiations for an equitable lease. Real shots fired, Meg. I think like both you and I really perked up at that statement.
Yeah. We were both like, something's wrong here.
Yeah.
They're not explaining why they didn't get the lease that they wanted. They just said we didn't get the thing we wanted.
Yeah.
So I'm just starting to dig into it a little bit for the stranger. I'm on the beat. I got to go up there and try to chat with them. But
Yeah.
I wrote to the Pike Place PDA. I don't remember what PDA stands for. Something Development Authority.
Preservation and Development Authority. Yeah.
And I got a boilerplate email back
Yeah.
just saying like we tried to work with them. They're on a month-to-month lease right now and have been for a while. And we're trying to nail down a real lease like all of our other tenants, and they just don't want to do it. So
That's a tough situation because I feel like there's always, I mean, obviously two sides to every
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, if you think about like the leaser, the triple net these days.
yes,
it's
that was what I assumed it was. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So the thing with the Pike Place Market PDA is they are a not-for-profit organization, and they operate differently than the standard landlord. So that's what perked me up about this statement was that
okay.
the statement on Instagram was really set up to kind of suck you into the typical money-grubbing landlord narrative that we see time and time again. You
And
know,
those were
right?
the
like,
comments that they got.
Yeah, and
Fucking
that was,
landlords
yeah.
ruining everything. Seattle is dying. Yeah.
Yeah, but
100%.
the structure that the Pike Place PDA leases operate under is a lower lease term and then a 6% cut to the PDA once your sales top $1.2 million.
Okay.
And so it sounds like what Virginia Inn was trying to negotiate for was either a lower percentage or a higher threshold
They wanted a
to
higher
activate that.
threshold.
To like commensurate with inflation, which is actually like that seems on the surface like a fairly reasonable ask, but you know there's just lots of moving parts with that. It's
It's too many.
uh,
And then if one person gets it, then
Exactly. There's what, 100,
Yeah.
100 plus businesses
Yep.
that would all have to negotiate for
chain
it. So.
reaction.
yeah.
To me, it seems like instead of closing, the responsible thing would be to sell the business so that someone else can negotiate their own lease.
Yeah,
But I want to dig in more and
Yeah,
talk to
yeah,
more people
yeah.
before I assume that.
totally. There's so much more to this story, and so I think that
Yeah.
there's really no like concrete conclusion to be made. It's just
Yeah.
like this is happening. We'll see what unfolds.
Well, they're also like, save the Virginia Inn by emailing all these people.
Yeah.
And it's like, save yourselves. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not sure
for
what will
sure.
happen.
For sure.
Maybe
Yeah, I was
someone will step in and offer
I want to know
buy
what
it.
happened because as soon as I heard of that, I was like, there must not be enough Seattle locals because somebody should be stepping in and saving that immediately.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I kind of expect that to happen at the buzzer. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
maybe. The owner of Virginia Inn took the sign down,
noticed
which
that,
which
yeah.
is an interesting move. I don't know that that's his.
They just yoink it. Do we know it was the owner and not
yeah.
Pike Place?
Well, it's mine now.
Did
Yeah.
Pike Place take it? They're like, don't
No.
steal our sign.
I,
Interesting.
Yeah, that's
The purloined historic sign.
Yeah.
I want to write about that too.
Interesting move. So
I'm going to have some chats. All right,
sure.
what else we got? Poindexter's is closing, which I'm quite upset about.
So this is the landlord
it is the
story
landlord, yeah.
at this point, because they mentioned that their lease has been raised, and then they tried to sell the business, and then no one was interested in it due to the lease terms.
The very high rent. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, to me, it's so frustrating to see all these places around town that have had their rent raised, and so they leave, and then that building lays fallow, awaiting a new tenant. Like that happened with Che Boggs, right?
Yeah,
used to be Cucina Filipa, and that space is still empty after all these years.
Right, the old space.
The old space, and
it's like, do you want a tenant? Is it? I'm going to raise your rent. Okay, your tenant leaves, and then nobody moves in. Are you better off, landlord, with no tenant at all?
Yeah, you get a tax write-off that way.
I guess. And then your building falls into disrepair unless,
It's not good for the city. That's high rent blight. That's what that's called. There's a word for it.
Who else is closing, Mark?
Oh my God.
So many.
Yeah, we got Eden Hill closing on September 4th.
That one's a sad one.
Yeah.
I remember when Eden Hill opened and Maximilian Petty, he's just such a kind person. He was doing some crazy stuff. Everybody wanted to be up there. You know, that and How to Cook a Wolf were the places that, you know, it was either those two places. That's what you did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Up on Queen Anne, so.
For sure.
Thai Siam and Crown Hill, which is open since 1987.
Holy smokes. Are they just retiring? Or?
That's my question too. Do you know?
That's what I hoped, but the messaging they put out really didn't indicate that. Like normally people mention that when that's the case, and they really kind of leaned on saying goodbye and sort of a wistful tone. That's a big loss. Regardless of how you feel about like a neighborhood Thai spot, they were so good for the community. They used to host holiday dinners for less fortunate people. They would donate to food banks pretty constantly.
Yeah.
No, that's kind of missed these days. So
absolutely.
Right.
So,
that's what we lose when these businesses, we lose community members who can help the community just because someone wanted some more dollars for their pocket.
Yeah. And I don't know exactly that was the case, but it certainly seems like it.
Yeah. Alban Grape, similar neighborhood. This is all going down in like Greenwood, Crown Hill.
Yeah, they are retiring though.
They are. Okay, that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
And that area is, it's a good area.
Yeah.
It has a lot of history too.
So that's Paola Corsini and Chris Kosik. So those are the owners who are retiring, and they have a buyer lined up for that space.
Oh, nice.
So there will be something in there.
Cool.
I wasn't able to figure out what it's going to be, but there'll be something. So that's at least some good news.
Same block, Green Tree Vietnamese is back open.
Yes.
One of the owners died suddenly in February, unfortunately. That's a lovely little neighborhood spot.
Yeah, that owner was only 48 years old, so that's just really tragic and disturbing.
Yeah.
And the neighborhood...
Oh, wow, the one who passed...
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but...
that's crazy.
I actually dug into it a little bit and found like the list of deaths from that day, and it said pending. They didn't know why.
Wow, that's awful.
Yeah, the city's kind of on fire right now. So
yeah. Like maybe like a final note about Green Tree is that the neighborhood really loves that spot.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
And I've heard so many people talk up the food there, and so that's a place that's worth supporting for sure.
I'm glad they're back. And we said we were going to make a pact when closed restaurants reopen.
Yeah.
Even if they're closed temporarily, just to let people know they're back.
Yeah.
So Green Tree's back.
That reminds me of another place that's going to be back. Maybe tomorrow, as soon as this episode drops, it's Omart. So they'll be back from their trip.
They go to the Philippines.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, awesome.
Omart and Pike Place. Cool, man. La Quadra. Brick and mortar in Ballard, and the old Maíz Taqueria, which was Sazon for a while.
It was the same owners when it was Sazon. They just decided to rebrand as Maíz. Okay. And then the Maíz location up there was more of a traditional taqueria, which is different than Maíz Molino in Denny Regrade and the Maíz in the market.
In the Pike Place
and
market.
I would say that I think they struggled to find their footing at that location. So they mentioned that they were closing that space to focus on the other two. And I think that's the right move. I think maybe they just got a little too spread thin. And
I feel like a lot of people, especially mid-pandemic, a lot of people expanded really fast. And you thought things were going to go back to normal sooner than they were, and all this, all this stuff. And so we're still dealing with, COVID, recovery and stuff like that.
For sure.
So.
Sure.
The chips are falling.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's why I did a pop-up for so long, because, it was just an easier way than
Yeah, you don't have to commit to a lease. And there's sort of a way to...
especially when nobody's really coming out except just for specific things.
Yeah.
So
Any more news?
I think that's... Oh, maybe I wanted to mention really quick. I meant to mention this last week, but Sunny Hill is celebrating their 5th anniversary.
Oh, nice.
And
Dude,
that puts them at opening in April of 2020. So I think anyone that opened in 2020 like definitely deserves a shout out if they have an anniversary
they made
coming
it.
up. Like
Nice.
that's the
They
very...
made
Like
it.
your child lived to age 5.
Yeah, exactly.
During the Spanish influenza or something. Yeah.
I know, that's wild. So many places did open during, and some of them, rest in peace, they closed, but the ones that have survived,
Yeah,
holding
just
it down.
to think about putting together a business plan, which would have had to be in motion months and months before,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah.
And find a space and then get the space and then be like,
stick
all
it
right,
out.
we're ready to open. And then all this happens. So anyways, cheers to Sunny Hill for making it.
I want this wine to be better.
Yeah,
I want to be drinking wine. But
Yeah,
it's
I know.
just
I gave it a
like-
shot, but
I've been holding the other half of this cookie like ever since we started.
Oh, you don't want to
these.
eat it? Here, put it
I was gonna eat it.
it on the lid.
I think, yeah. Oh, well, I'll just chop it.
You know
now.
what they say about wine?
Mm.
If you don't love the wine you have, love the wine you're with. I don't know. I don't love it. I love drinking wine, just not
I'll
this
take.
wine.
I mean, I'll finish it.
They also say in vino veritas.
They say a lot of things.
So, but is in shitty vino shitty veritas?
Yeah. I mean, what's truer than shitty wine and like drinking it anyway? That's true. That's life.
This is turning into a party.
Yeah.
As it often does.
I mean that in a good way.
Yeah.
I think we learned our lesson with Leche. With Leche, we drank the wine before we started recording.
Oh.
And we were a little loopy.
It was better wine, to be fair.
It
Lakia
was.
has better taste than my mom.
Lakia is awesome. We actually.
God, I love Lakia.
She was doing pop-ups with at the same location when we were at Rose Temple.
At Rose Temple, yeah. Yeah, she
Yeah,
mentioned
right.
you. That's right.
Oh.
Yeah. She was on the show, 3 episodes ago? One of the funniest episodes.
She is
Yeah.
a hoot.
She
and
really is.
Her whole family comes in and does stuff with her sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah, her sister and her
Yeah.
mom.
Totally.
They are also,
And her dad, yeah.
And they are equally as funny. So
They all have good comic timing.
You ever hear her sing?
I have not, but I've heard that she is.
I
really
saw a video once of her at karaoke, and I was like, she had mentioned that she could sing, and she
Yeah.
was correct.
highly correct.
We're trying to organize a karaoke trip with Lakia to Flight Path, which I think it has Rockaroke with
Yeah.
a live band. So
Oh.
Yeah.
You know, the Crocodile does Rockaroke sometimes.
Really?
Yeah,
they
or at
really?
least they have, I think.
I've been
yeah.
missing that.
do you sing, Johnny?
I say that I do, and I hope that I do well, but
I
I
hope
only
that I
sing, but I only do by myself. So
See, I feel like people need to understand that karaoke is not about singing well.
No.
Yes, it's
It's about being fun.
Yes,
you know,
that's true.
like
That's
the situation of karaoke is like imagine you're at a party and the music went off and you're the closest person to restarting the music. What song do you choose?
I think I can handle that for sure. I like to do air guitar a lot, and
Perfect.
I also do the bridges. You know, the music bridges. Like if there's no lyrics, that's all me.
Oh, you
Yeah.
freestyle?
Yeah.
You make up lyrics?
Well, sometimes, or I'll just do the music with just like.
You'll just add some more.
Yeah, because it's like you need the horns. Like if I'm singing in the car, my wife hates it.
Oh, really?
And like if I'm like I'll sing a song and then like I'll be like blah 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 blah.
Yeah, no, that's the way.
And she's like, why do you do? It's like
Why
because
you-
if you don't understand where I'm at in the song,
Yeah.
and like if you
Exactly.
lose the beat,
You
then
need
I
to
can't
understand.
continue the next lyric.
All right, you're in the crew. You're
Yeah,
in the crew.
absolutely.
We're all going.
This is a must. We
Throw
gotta
it
go.
down. Bring your wife. Make her listen.
You know who also does karaoke at the Flight Path is Ivan from Baby Ketten.
Oh, really? He sings there? Or he's the KJ?
he hosts on Monday nights now.
Okay.
Oh, great.
This is like a new development too.
Oh,
like,
shit.
Nice.
God, I love Ivan.
My sous chef is he actually has specific songs that he chooses. And
Okay.
everyone's like, Joey went off he got too drunk and did karaoke. And I was like, oh, I got to see this.
Yeah. Let's get a crew together.
Yeah, that sounds like
All right.
fun.
Shout him out.
Amazing. Well, I think it's maybe time for a roundtable,
Yeah,
right?
the round table we were chatting about is just everything's fucking expensive. And what's a restaurant to do? Do you raise your prices and then drive your customers away? Is there a balance? Do you do happy hour prices for 1 hour?
For 1 hour, I know. And then if you do happy hour for 1 hour, you're like, well, I do it AM and PM. You know, like you do one right at the beginning of service and one at the end of service.
How do you
to try
lure
to-
them in?
Yeah.
It's hard. I mean, I always say that if the dish at least needs to look the price.
Sure.
And that's like a really big thing for me is like I've based the restaurant. It's been really hard for me to open a restaurant in this current climate because like I'm so used to the old guard and the old way, like where you could get away with, crazy prices that you couldn't get away with now. And also just not putting it on to the guest, but also you got to make profit.
Absolutely.
Right, exactly.
Everything is crazy, and a lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to eat at a restaurant, but in order for that restaurant to function, you have to have a certain amount of people.
Yeah, and then it doesn't exist.
And like that's the biggest thing that's hitting people is the labor, but also food prices and all those things. So when you try to keep everything at a certain margin, it gets really, really hard. And so I've always tried to be as, I guess, transparent, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And we have raised prices and done those sorts of things, but I always try to tell my cooks and stuff like that more food. So everyone, I have been called out on it, but like, doesn't that defeat the purpose if you're going to raise the price? Like, you can't get more food.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but you can also like up it a little bit. Like, like just make sure like I always say like if the chicken looks like the chicken itself looks small, give them a couple extra carrots and potatoes. Cause like fill the plate. I always want somebody to leave full. I always want somebody to take a doggy bag. I guess that's like, that's a hit in the pocket, but like, that's like what you're supposed to do. And that's like what happens when you come to like my house or if you go to my parents' house, like you gotta
that's why you're doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to leave with food. And so everyone's like, I'm so full. And I'm like, I'm good. But it's also hard because then you're like, the bottom line does get hit,
Sure.
but everyone's happy. And I'm always like, as long as my employees are paid and the guests are happy, like that's really all that really matters.
Your rent's paid,
and the rent's paid, You're
like, fuck that. No, I don't pay the rent.
And really the autoclore dude, because like holy shoot,
so much.
Autoclore they get you, and every time the truck pulls up, I'm like, dear, get out, go away. Don't come. They parked in front of the restaurant this week, and I was like, we just paid.
Oh my God,
they went down the street. So
oh my God, the sheriff of Nottingham or something.
It's worse than taxes, I think.
Yeah.
Gotta pay the autoclore.
You gotta pay the autoclore, man.
That might be the title of this
I
episode.
was thinking the same thing. Well, I just had a question. Obviously, I don't own a restaurant. So a while ago, I posted a story about Tacos Gaimas in Tacoma having like $2 or $2.50 tacos on a certain day of the week.
Yes.
And I got a note from a local restaurant owner saying you shouldn't be celebrating these cheap prices. It was like Taco Thursday or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, first of all, that guy butchers his own animals in-house, and that's why it's cheap. But secondly, you see whole families sitting down with tacos, but they order other stuff.
Yeah.
They order $100 worth of food. They're just drawn in by the tacos. You could feed the kids with the tacos or whatever. But like, do you think in general, if you have an item that's low priced or a happy hour or something, that people end up ordering non-happy hour stuff? Or do they come in to be cheap in general and try to spend $20?
I think that's a toss-up. I think it's 50-50. Some people do come in because unless you're opening up an hour earlier than you originally were open,
Right.
To do happy hour, a lot of people come in and they wait for dinner. But yeah, you get... It's a 50-50. Yeah, and sometimes I think the worst part about happy hour is that if you're going to do happy hour, you have to at least be into the idea of supporting the dinner menu at the same time.
Right.
Because people will come in and they don't want happy hour and they want to eat the regular food. And if you're not offering that, then it gets annoying. And that's kind of my thing is I'm always trying to please everybody. So like, I'm always like,
whatever you want.
Yeah, get the other food. And then if somebody's like, why did they get that? Like, you got the happy hour. And I was like, this is for people who want to be cheap. But if you want to eat food, like, please, like, by all means, eat food.
Yeah, and sometimes I feel like the happy hour menu can sort of accidentally affect the perception of the pricing on the regular menu, right? You're like, if you discount it too much, and all of a sudden people are like, whoa, I don't want to pay that. It's like...
Yeah, that's why the happy hour menu, if you do a happy hour menu, it has to be, or this is at least what I've learned in the industry, it needs... People like to cross-utilize dinner product for lunch product. Like, we'll do a smaller version of this or that to make it easier on the kitchen. But then everybody comes in. That's when you get everybody coming in for cheap bites. So if you keep it different, then you can get people. And then it's low par as well. You know? Right. So, like, don't do, like, 20 portions. Like, do 10. And then you kind of figure out where people want to go. But like we did meatballs for a little bit, albondigas, and stuff like that in a little red sauce. And We wanted to do oysters because we were in the area to do,
Right.
but that's also hard too, and they're a high ticket price item also.
For sure.
Super perishable. And,
So it's really tough to do the happy hour. I think Belltown, it's in itself, at least in my experience as of last year being there, hasn't lent itself to being a happy hour area yet.
That's so interesting because it just so used to be. But
and that's what I'm saying. That's what I used to remember it being. It's like people got off of work and then they would come have a drink and like a small bite or, like an early dinner. But it seems like everyone's in traffic.
That El Gaucho happy hour was like the legendary
Oh my
one.
God,
That was the one when happy hours came back in 2008 or whatever.
Totally.
Well, yeah, because I remember restaurants used to open up at like, 5 or like that would be like dinner. And then you would have like a 4, like you would open at 4, you would do a happy hour and then dinner was at 5 and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was always like it was a literal hour.
Yeah.
Right. So you had to hustle if you wanted to get to it after work or leave early.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about how Flint Creek has their happy hour burger and there's only 12 of them per service.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's
really
clever.
funny.
So it's pretty genius because they make the burger with the trimmings from the beef, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like really,
It's really
like
all they have left.
we're using everything,
Yeah.
and this is all we got. But there also is sort of that sense of scarcity, and you can't really turn into a bargain hunter zone with that because there's only 12 of them, right? So I just wonder if like that might be a model. I don't know how that model would translate in other businesses, but
I mean, I don't necessarily think they're doing it for hot commodity. I think that's probably just all they have. And or
They're going to throw it in the garbage. Might as well sell it.
yeah, might as well sell it. Like that's
Right.
what
I do like the idea that like there's only 12 of them. Oh, you didn't get one. Are you still going to sit down and eat though?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
psych.
It's like,
There's
yes.
no burger. You got to pay full
Yeah.
price. And people are like, okay.
well, it does
They
kind of
do,
crack.
they do plenty of covers over there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true.
I staged or was going to stage there once in my early days, and they told me how many covers they did in a night, and I was like, I'm good.
All set. No, thank you.
Yeah, you're like, I don't want to be Robo Chef.
I don't
No,
wanna-
thank you.
It's like, how many people you got in that kitchen? Because if that's the numbers you're doing, I'd rather be somewhere a little bit quieter.
Johnny,
Yeah.
real quick, we forgot to talk about Food Network stuff. Do you want to chat about that at all?
Oh, sure. I mean, if you want to.
You were on it
I
twice.
was on it. Yes, twice. It was a good time. I always say, let them reach out to you.
Yeah, well,
They're always looking for chefs in Seattle. So
I think that's a really interesting point. Is just how how do people find you? So they
Yeah.
reach out to you, and you would say that's the best way to engage with it.
yeah, it makes it more fun. If you go on it, then you have to win. Yeah, if you choose to go on it,
You better fucking
Yeah, you
win.
better win.
Okay.
If they want you to come on it, then you're like, all right, then fuck it.
right. Just get your screen time and see how long it lasts.
Just be fun. And,
Sure.
Yeah, that's true.
it's something I've never done before, and my wife is like I guess she's my official manager.
Yeah.
You could say. But there's paperwork, and that's something
Yeah, I
I can't
bet.
do. I hate fine print.
Did they hit you with NDAs? Like, is there stuff you can't talk about?
I mean,
it?
before it aired, yes,
Okay.
because you didn't
Okay.
want you can't say like who wins,
But
or
no
anything
NDA.
like
Oh,
that.
let's get into some tea then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I mean, I didn't really sign anything too crazy. It was
Yeah.
just more like my likeness and stuff like that.
Sure.
My
Okay.
family's likeness.
Uh-huh.
Because they do biopacks.
Okay.
That's what they call them. So it's like the background story.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. And they're like, this is your family. And like, give me 10 photos of you and
Yeah.
your kids.
Here's
And you're
your
like,
story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
And
son
then-
was like, I'm on TV.
And then they get the like photo still image of you with your arms
With the arms crossed.
and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of like
Those are
along a
hero
background.
poses. Yeah.
Hero poses.
Yeah, hero
Yeah.
poses. So that was what they call it. So there
That's
was.
why you have the tattoo, the
yeah,
Sonics
exactly.
tattoo,
It's
so you
like-
could cross your arms like a chef.
No, it's really funny. It's like Chopped was more of a whole thing. Alex versus America is a really quick process where you just go over there and you compete.
Which one did you do first?
Chopped, and that one was a lot of fun, but it's like really cheesy. And
Yeah?
It's funny because it's one of those things where it's really big on your personal image, so they try to get you to say stuff a lot.
Oh, like they're
so-
provoking you?
Yeah, and so like they'll ask you questions during your interviews and stuff like that, and then they'll try to get you to say stuff. And like I straight up was just like, no, I won't. I won't say that.
Do you remember any of the questions that you're like, this is you're trapping me?
Oh, they try to. I mean, there was some stuff. they try to make you talk smack against like other competitors and stuff like that.
Oh, you were
Or-
too nice.
Yeah, I'm not that kind
They
of guy.
want you to say,
Yeah,
I'm
or
not
they-
here to make friends.
Yeah, or they're like,
I thought you were going to say they wanted me to say something dorky or
no,
nerdy.
no,
and I
well,
was
that,
like,
that as well. But they're also like, would you say you're the best chef here? And I was like, I mean, no.
I would never say that.
Yeah, but then at the same time, you're like, I mean, have you seen the other guys?
Have you seen them? I don't have to say it at
But
all.
you say it in your head, and you're like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
let the food. But also, it's a game of chance. But
Sure.
it's funny because everyone's like, how long do you get? Like it's you. Oh, but I'm like, it's TV, so they have to film everything at least 3 times. So like, you open the thing, and then you get to look at the ingredient and stuff like that. But that's not the first time you've seen it. They make you put it back in, and then they like do it again, and then they open, close, close. You know, so there's a lot of back and forth. You get a lot of time to prepare. Or at least enough. But what I found about that show is that it's not necessarily how good you cook, it's how fast you cook.
Oh, sure.
And how many ingredients you get onto the plate.
Were there any ingredients you were hoping to not have to contend with?
No, they gave me some effed up stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I cooked with pigtails for dessert.
Whoa, for dessert.
Yeah, so that was fun. But I had been working at June Baby at the time.
Yeah.
And we used pig ears.
Yeah, right. So you're kind of like
very similar in. So I fried them and then I tossed them in cinnamon sugar, so they were kind of like a sweet, churro. And
bacony, maple bacon.
Yeah,
kind of
and then
thing.
put it on top of cherry ice cream. And it worked.
Yeah.
That sounds good, actually.
But my ice cream melted because they're liars. And they were like, use the ice cream machine, but only set it for 5 minutes because this is blah, 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 blah. But everything's brand new equipment. So I always tell people, I was like, if you ever compete on this, like this stuff is like top of the line, brand new. So it's like you want to go under. So I did it for 5 minutes and I overchurned my ice cream. So it came out and it was just like chung, 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 chung. And like, it was sad, but I turned it into like, I whipped it with milk because I was like, I don't want to add more fat. But you want to get like some sort of moisture back in there, to re-emulsify those solids, and it worked. And they were like, it's kind of like soft serve, and like the ice crystals are kind of nice, they thought, and so like it worked. And the other girl baked cake, for dessert.
Yeah,
Wow.
So you're gonna win.
Yeah, it was. She made it on a sheet tray dough. She did it like she was kind of thugging.
Okay.
I was very, very. It was interesting. But I realized Pop-Up Life kind of set me up to be really competitive.
Oh, sure.
On that, because you do everything by yourself. So you're like, oh, I got to do this. Oh, I got to do that. So everything, you can run 4 stations at once and like make it happen. And it's only one dish. So also,
I feel like
Thanks,
people
Round.
are probably wondering what kind of money you get to be on Chopped.
you get, I think it was $5,000, but it's taxed.
Yeah, right.
So it's never fun. And then you don't get it until the episode airs. And that's the
Oh,
kicker.
geez.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
it's
don't
like a year later.
Yeah, it's like don't expect an immediate payout, and they take a long time because at that time they were just getting into streaming, because it was during the pandemic, so everything had to go to streaming.
Yeah.
So that makes it an extra 3 week or 3 week to 2 month window of more editing time because they have to edit 2 different things, one for TV and then one for streaming, and then streaming comes out second. So yeah, it was just really frustrating to wait because I was desperate for cash.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so
Sure.
I did it because I wanted to win. And then when I did win, I was like, well, yes, I get this money. And then they're like, psych. But then when the money came in, as my dad said, money's never late. So it came.
Well said.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the episode title.
Money's never late. Yeah. Did
But
they-
also, it's a commercial for yourself and
Yeah.
for whatever project you do later.
Exactly. And so, I mean, people still come in and they're like, I saw your Chopped episode
Yeah.
and it was so good. And I'm like, that's really
It
funny.
doesn't feel that way at the time because you don't know you're going to open a restaurant later. But when
Yeah.
you do, you've got a
No, I think I
commercial
talked-
running
I
in
think-
perpetuity.
I think I talked about opening a food truck at that when I was doing
Yeah.
that show. And then I quickly realized that, it's hard because it was still pandemic. So
Yeah,
that was
right.
everybody's mindset was just
Yeah.
like mobile food and all that stuff. But yeah, a place for people to congregate is always the best option.
That's cool. One of our earlier guests said something that I thought was really interesting, and he was saying it as kind of a hot take, and it was that he thought that people are leaning too hard on their stories and not paying enough attention to the food. That was sort of the perspective of it. I wonder what you think about that.
I think that is definitely a hot take. I think I could not double down on the hot take, but not say that people are focusing too hard on the stories, but people are focusing too hard on the presence of the story. Like, let's say on Instagram or just Instagram ability, I would say is like more important to people than the story. I think a lot of people are using their stories to promote their food, which is really good and important because it highlights all these underrepresented communities.
That's a big thing for sure. Like there's a lot of people that have never been able to tell a story, period. So,
exactly. And I think it's a big highlight for Seattle because we have all these different types of cuisines and a lot of history with those cuisines, and a lot of people don't know about it. I think like Pho Bac is like a huge example of that, where like we have this huge Vietnamese community and all that stuff. But the boat was like, that's where I went to, after school, we'd go to the boat, you know? So like that's a spot. And, you know, the Rainier Valley where, I grew up was like a big, big part of food history that a lot of people don't really know about. Beacon Hill is still a big part of, you know, my life. And I always go up there to eat. I mean, Masang is up there, Bar del Corso, and family friend Elmer Dula.
Homer's up there.
Yeah, like I actually wanted when I was looking for spots where family friend is, I wanted to put a bid on it, but it wasn't open because they like, oh, they're dealing with it internally. Turns out that my good friend Elmer ended up buying it, and I was like, you fucker.
It was the Bai Tai folks.
Yeah, Bai
right?
Tai. Yeah. And I used to know them when they were in Chop House Row in the little coffee shop in the back because they bought our juice bar when I worked for Erica Burke for Chop Shop. And so we had a juice bar back there, and then when she sold it, they were doing sushi out there, and it was so good, but you know, it was always 10 people, great people.
Well, you ended up in a really good spot, so can't be mad. Yeah.
No, I know, and he's like, he has a really good chic going on where he's like, I'm too cool for school, you know. So he's like none of the advertising and stuff like that, and like he's just so popular, and I just love him so much because
killing it.
It's just it's just who he is too. Like everybody's like, everybody knows Elmer.
Everybody knows you too.
And people need to try stuff other than the burger there.
I agree.
The tostada is so good. The corn soup is good.
The corn soup is great.
I mean, they have a killer menu, and the burger is good, mind you. But
also get the burger.
I think I feel like
you could just get that too.
No, I feel like a lot. I feel like it's infatuation who really like hypes them up a lot on the burger. But everybody else should.
That's because they
have a crab tostada.
I almost said something rude. I'm not gonna say it. I'll say it later when we're not rolling.
I think the stories that are being told are important stories. I feel like you shouldn't like lean on fake stories, but I also feel like you shouldn't lean on Instagram ability. I feel like that's the biggest thing that we've learned is like people go into a place and it's like, can you take a picture here? And then they're kind of missing out on the food.
Right.
But I also think if your food is good, then you don't necessarily need a story.
True.
But the story is what gets people to come in, you know?
Yeah.
But also like the story, you're telling the story of your family.
Yeah, and that's what it is. If you have a story to say,
you wouldn't have a restaurant and you wouldn't be making these recipes if you weren't representing your family story.
If you don't have a story to say, then I feel like you would be like, you don't need a story to cook food. But if you have something to say, then say. I mean,
they're both good.
Yeah, it's like that's why I call them a hot take. You know. So, but I mean, like especially with me, it's like being able to speak for, I guess, my family who came over here and stuff like that, and and tell their story because it's interesting. And then we have a lot of Puerto Rican people here, but we don't have a lot of Puerto Rican food.
Yeah.
Right.
And like, so like, I remember growing up, we had one place that we went to, El Pilon, and it was in Rainier Valley, and it was run by grandma. Actually, their grandkids come to the restaurant.
Oh.
And they're super sweet. But it was run by a grandma, and she cooked the food in the back, and the food was always so good. And we were like, oh my gosh, like you can't beat this.
Right.
And then when it closed, it's now Emma's Barbecue.
Okay.
And we were super sad. Emma's Barbecue is good.
Yeah.
But it was just like, you know, there's not a lot of that. There's Café con Leche down in Soto, which is really good. They do Cuban food.
Gio's moved.
Yeah. And then they have like some Cuban spots up in Greenwood. They have Mojito.
I love
everyone
Mojito.
likes to go to everyone's like, what about bongos? But it's La Isla was the mothership. You know, like,
for sure.
Burned down.
Everybody will love La Isla, and when it burned down, it was
Now
definitely
it's a condo building.
Yeah, but when it burned down, I was like, damn, that's such a loss. And then eventually I started to pop up, and I was like, man, I feel like the city like misses this kind of food, you know? And so it was really important that, you know, we try to get it back out there. So
For sure.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you did. Should we talk about what we ate this week?
Oh, yeah, there's still that.
Yeah. Real quick. Go
Real
as
quick.
fast as you can.
Oh, my God. Well, I mean,
I already got a place that I wanted to plug immediately.
let's
so
hear it.
Grann in
Yeah.
Tacoma.
Oh, yeah.
my
They're great.
God.
So
I'm dying to go there.
Come down this weekend, Mark.
Yeah.
I want to say Denzel and Jacob.
Yeah.
And they are, I mean, I remember when Jacob was doing pop-ups. He did pop-ups when I was doing pop-ups, and he was really good. Those guys are doing something crazy unique, and I don't think people are really understanding what they're doing yet. The mixture of cuisines that they're doing and the way that they get it done is like, I'm like, damn, this is really, really good. And I mean, obviously they're new, so they're going to keep on creating and emphasizing on their dishes and doing all this stuff. But the menu is straightforward. You can find something you like. There's fresh options, which is always good. The drinks are
great.
Yeah, the drinks are great.
I like that red Detroit red.
Yeah, Detroit
and
red.
It's got the charged red bell pepper syrup. It's killer.
And then we got the
rye.
mango lassi, and there were some other things that we got. I took the whole crew out
Oh,
there to eat there, and it was like, it was it was just so good. And then their staff is really good. And then I feel like Tacoma really needs more good food options for people to come out to, like, that bring people out to there.
Yes.
Like destination places.
Yeah, destination places, because I go to Tacoma all the time to eat food.
Yeah.
And there's tons of good food in Tacoma.
It's a whole city's worth of great food.
It's a whole city's worth of great food.
Yeah.
But like when you get those with the places that are going to get a lot of press, that bring people over there, I'm like, yeah, bring it on, because I mean, there's tons of good burgers, like Shake. But it's like Tacoma's so good. Des Moines is really good. And they have really good food. They have Thai food down there in Des Moines that you've never, like, come on.
I saw
Where are they?
It's called Dee's Thai. It's called Dee's Thai. It's just literally, and I think Dee's the mom.
Yeah.
But it was during COVID. It wasn't open for sit down. It was only takeout, and it's like an old house. It's so good. It's just like very Americanized Thai, as people say it. It's not like Pesto Rock where it's like Northern Thai.
Sure.
But the pad Thai is pad Thai.
Yeah, man, like that's diaspora cuisine. I think diaspora cuisine is valid.
delicious things are delicious.
Exactly.
No, but I would smash it. No,
I saw a video this weekend. I saw a reel, not a video. An old person would call it a video, but a young person would call it a reel.
That's not a program.
I saw an internet program.
Oh, does that make me old? Because I call them videos.
No, I do too.
Yeah.
I'm way older than you, man. Of a truck in Des Moines that had a carne asada pizza with salsa verde on it, and I wanted it real bad. And I was
it
like,
wasn't Taqueria on La Rainier, was it?
it was called like
Or Papusaria?
it was called like Pedritos Pizzas Locas or something like that. And they
there's some
do
good
like
trucks out there.
carne asada and I think carnitas on pizza.
Oh, okay.
That
But
looks so
it was
good.
almost the salsa verde that made it look even better. And I think it had a little bit of pickled onions on top. I fucking wanted it. Anyway, Des Moines. You got to pronounce the S in Moines, though, because it's not Iowa, it's Washington.
It is Washington. Exactly.
Mark, did you eat anything this week?
I went to Lucky's Pho in Fremont.
Oh, they're
And
great.
I have not been to that place before. It's been there forever.
Yeah.
I think I was just sort of like unreasonably salty about Sonic Boom Records not being there anymore. But I finally went this week because I just had to have something quick. So I was like, a banh mi somewhere sounds great. I was going to be in the neighborhood, so I got a pork banh mi there. And theirs is a little bit different. It's big, bodacious chunks of roast pork, not grilled pork.
Exactly.
And then there's the pickled daikon is diced. And there's a little bit of this sort of pesto sauce in there.
Okay.
Whoa.
And a little bit of lettuce, which I think people will find controversial, but I thought it worked.
Controversial.
Yeah.
One sandwich and lettuce are not my two vibes.
I don't want lettuce in there generally, but it
works.
was just a little sprinkle of it. So I was like, all right, it's fine.
It worked.
Did they put it in after they it was?
No, it was in the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But the thing I loved about Lucky's Pho was that they have their pho accoutrements set up like a salsa bar. So just by the front counter, there's all these bins with jalapenos and bean sprouts and basil leaves and limes. You can take as much as you want. I'm not trying to get bean sprouts, but I'm definitely trying to get jalapenos.
Yeah, and basil, and I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
I like them. I like that they call their Vietnamese iced coffee the Mount Rainier because when you turn it upside down, the condensed milk is on the bottom and it looks like a mountain because it drips down. I thought that was cute.
They serve it that way. They have the bubble tea plastic seal and they bring it out to your table. Just
Upside down and it looks like a snowy mountain.
Yeah.
It's adorable.
I went to Il Bistro and I had a pour from the last burning embers of their supply of Townshend Distilling's Kashmiri Amaro.
Your favorite with the deer on it.
It is my one of my very favorite Amari.
Yeah.
And Townshend Distilling closed like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And so all the supply of it is just like, you can't get more. And Il Bistro had this mother load of it. They had shelves and shelves of it. So every now and then I would just cruise by there and get a pour of it.
Yeah.
This time I asked if they still had it, and the guy was like, I don't know. And I was like, okay, it's fine. The jig is up.
Yeah.
And so he was able to give me a pour. He said they had half a bottle left.
Oh.
So I had a very poignant experience of getting down to the last sip and thinking, oh, I am aware that right now this is likely the last I will ever have of this.
It's over.
Yeah. I mean, I hope someone buys that distillery, and because apparently they're still just in place and ready to turnkey.
Maybe it's you.
Yeah, maybe it's me. If
Maybe
anyone
you
wants
start
to,
up your own
team
Amari
if anyone
factory.
wants to give me a winning lottery ticket
I wonder what happened
and
to-
some knowledge.
I wonder what happened to the bottle that was at Tio Babies.
I know, right? That
Gotta
was
ask,
yeah.
Oh man, rip. Yeah, that was a sad closure.
Yeah. Anything else?
Let's see. Well, I went to Screwdriver and I had a Walking with a Laddie cocktail. And that is the cocktail I have to name because it's the one that set me off on Scotch-based cocktails. Like I first had it like a year ago when they put out their new menu. And it was with Indian single malt whiskey. There's a spray of Ardbeg 10 and there's Punta Mess and Amaro Americano. And it was made by Derek Jeffries. And he's a fantastic bartender. And it took me a long time to realize what Screwdriver's cocktail list was. They do something for everybody.
Yeah.
So it's not start to finish craft cocktails. It's not start to finish party drinks. It's like all of those. So
I know we're trying to find that happy medium too, because everyone's like, "Do you want to be fancy? Do you want to be fun?" And I was like, "Man, it's got to be good, but there has to be something for everybody." We wanted to be a rum bar, but people don't want rum.
Oh, really?
Yeah, people don't want just rum bars. So
people need
But
to
you
learn.
have a good rum selection. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You just
We
have other stuff
great
too.
rum. Yeah, people want gin and people want whiskey and
Yeah, people need to learn about rum. I think that there's sort of like a knowledge gap about it. And people
we have
sort of-
predominantly good rums on the wall, and then we have everything for the well, but we do like mid shelf everything else, and then top shelf.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, if you want to learn about rum, you should go to Lenox and
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want good Caribbean rums,
Yeah.
Puerto Rican
I do.
specifically.
That's what I want.
Meg, what'd you eat?
I had a daiquiri at Navy Strength at the happy hour for $6, and it was very
snap.
good.
A daiquiri for $6.
It was right when they opened. I was trying to go to Luka's, which is not technically open yet, and it was pouring down rain. And my friend who works there was going to let me in. Was a little late, and I was like, "It is shitting rain out here. I got to get out of the rain." So I went over to Navy Strength, and it was happy hour. The first hour they're open, I think it was 4:00, and I got a very, very good daiquiri for $6, and I was like, "Where else?"
Now I know
You
where
could
to
probably
go,
get a
right
piece
before
of
service.
shit daiquiri for $6 somewhere, but this was a very high quality one.
Check it out.
Yeah, I feel like people sleep on Navy Strength these days, and they really
Yeah.
shouldn't. Gorgeous cocktails there.
Then I went to Luka's, which is the old sit and spin spot.
Yep.
They're open, I think, top of May, like a couple weeks. So the bar manager is Dakota Etley, who was at Sapon, he was the bar manager there and was behind their James Beard bar program nomination. But he's left Sapon and now he's at Luka's.
Wait, he left.
He left. He's at Luka's now.
I know. Well, Lucas.
And he took Scotty
Lucas
with him.
in Cottontail, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know.
We met you there once and we had your hush puppies long time ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because
Yeah.
I was working there. I was helping them refurb their kitchen for
Yeah.
a really long time.
Dakota is a genius. And I hope this isn't like ageist, but like he's quite young and he's doing shit that like a person who's worked in a bar for 30 years is doing, like really creative, beautiful, complicated stuff.
They're rare.
He's making a kvass out of Raisin Bran.
Oh,
which
that's
is
amazing.
amazing.
Just to make
Because kvass is made out of rye.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
like
Yeah.
rye, like the
And
grain.
That's easy access.
Yeah, he's like, it's delicious and it kind of tastes like fruit because it's got raisins
Sure.
in it.
Yeah, I mean, when I worked at a restaurant in Ravenna, we made kvass out of all the old rye bread that we had.
Yeah,
and
right.
everyone's like, "Why do you make kvass?" And I was like, "I actually realized that this is like Russian Malta.
Yeah, it
because we
is.
make
Yeah.
Malta Goya or
Yeah,
Malta,
exactly.
and it's like
Yeah.
a fermented barley malt. So
Totally. He's making a strawberry tapache with pineapple also, but it's like ferment.
so he likes to
ferments
mess
the
around.
strawberry. Yeah, he
Yeah.
likes to ferment stuff. He's got a salted lemon pound cake syrup that was very, very good.
I want it. Okay, now
Yeah.
He
I
does
go
like
down
an
there and check that out.
alcoholic orange Julius. He's like, I used to love orange
my God.
Julius. It's got like Ramazzotti in it. He's doing cool shit in there.
I love this for the neighborhood.
You are invited, by the way. I was like, I got to be somewhere. I don't have time to call Mark. We're
Is
like
it-
2 blocks away, but
Yeah.
like Dakota's world class.
Hey, what's that, Doc? You like Puerto Rican shit?
Yeah, I'm sure he does. Well, he's like 2 blocks away. You should go visit,
No, I'm
talk
gonna
to
go visit
Dakota.
now. Just check it out.
And
for
so
drinks.
nice.
I'm
He's
like,
a nice
Orange
man,
Julius
too.
sounds delicious.
He's got all kinds of great ideas.
Love it.
So I'm excited for that. I went back to Lucy's bottle shop and interviewed her, and I wrote a little story for Seattle Mag.
Cool.
I went to Four Diamonds in Pioneer Square, which is new Vietnamese. I had thought they were like a boba tea place.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that from the outside.
But they're doing like broken rice dishes, vermicelli. They're doing, you know,
cool.
they're in Pioneer Square, like next to Ohm, the dance club, like by McCoy's Firehouse. But I had a very good banh mi. I had seen a photo of the shrimp banh mi that looked really saucy, and I was like, I want that saucy ass shrimp banh mi. And I ordered it, and they gave me the chicken, and I was like, God damn it, I don't care. But the chicken was quite good. It was in like a peanut fish sauce, soy sauce. It was saucy as well, and I was like, I would
I've
order
been
this
noticing
again.
A lot of banh mi's have been saucy boys.
Yeah, I don't expect that because I expect cold cuts, right?
Yeah.
And mayonnaise. But the chicken banh mi, I would get it again.
I'd mess it up.
They were really nice. They just had their
now I'm
grand
like, all this-
opening.
and I'm like, I gotta go home and go get
Yeah.
some banh mi or tacos because now
And
I'm
I
like,
went to the Salish Lodge in
Oh,
Snoqualmie.
right.
They have a new bar and they wanted the media to show up. So my partner was like, let's get in the car. Like he drove us up there. He had oral surgery and I'm like, baby, are you going to be able to eat like a steak? He's like, we're going to try. So, you know, it's right next to Snoqualmie Falls. It's in the exterior shots, not the interior, but the exterior is in Twin Peaks. It's the Northern Hotel or the Great Northern Hotel, whatever it's called in the show. The interior shots are from a hotel in Poulsbo, but the exterior and the waterfall is from Twin Peaks.
oh, that's funny.
So it was beautiful. We had elk chops. We had a very high quality Berkshire pork chop that we really, really liked.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
And like it was so much meat that we couldn't finish it. And we're big people. Like we can eat a lot. Steven made tacos out of it later and with potatoes. It was very, very
Oh,
good. Everything was great actually.
I'm not a good leftover eater.
I mean this
Are
in the
you not?
loveliest way. No?
No.
Oh, you were just talking about needing to serve
I like to
leftovers
give
too.
people
All
leftovers,
right.
but I don't like to eat leftovers.
I do
Okay.
like to eat leftovers because I'm cheap. The elk chops were good too, actually. We ate
next day?
those later too. Yeah.
nice.
Oh, I hope this isn't rude to say. Like, I never went to Salish Lodge because it's just sort of like a chop house menu and it's a little boomery for me.
Sure.
Because it's not like a destination, like food destination. It's a waterfall destination. It's
Yeah.
beautiful, right? And
Yeah.
so I just wasn't that excited about the menu, but it was so high quality
Yeah.
that I was sort of like, oh,
Sometimes
right.
simple and done right is
Totally.
like all you really need.
Yeah, really beautiful meat. We enjoyed it all. We got an apple galette that we liked with maple ice cream.
Oh, that sounds perfect.
It was a nice night. And
Yeah.
it's 45-minute drive. It was lovely. I'm really glad we went to Salish Lodge and I would go back.
I'm like, man, a galette. Let's go.
That sounds like
Yeah.
a whole experience.
It was a whole ass experience.
Oh, yeah. I should mention the thing I was talking about at the beginning, and I decided to save for this section, which was going to Here Today for their pig roast.
Oh, yeah. Talk about the pig roast.
They had that as the sort of centerpiece of their Best Buds Fest thing. They were roasting a whole pig
funny.
and serving it with baked beans and coleslaw and just like really down home style. But that was
That's the way to
absolutely
be.
I
delicious.
want it. Whenever, like, I felt intense jealousy when you said you went to pig roast. I want to go to a pig roast.
I know. It's like Hamdi does the lamb roast, but you
Yeah.
don't see those pig roasts popping up on it.
Right,
So
yeah.
it's cool to have
There
that.
used
close
to be a
you.
place in Rainier Beach called like Island Barbecue or something. It was
Island Soul?
Filipino. Islands.
Oh no, I was Filipino.
It was Filipino, and they would do a pig roast.
Yeah, further south. I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name.
They closed it for the pandemic, and I don't think they ever came back. I think it's catering only now. Anyway, I felt jealousy in my soul when I heard that you
I
went
used
to
to
pig
live
roast.
next to a family of Samoans growing up, and
Oh, man.
they would roast all week. They would have, funerals, graduations, doesn't matter what it is.
Any reason?
It's usually a 3-day party, so they
Yeah.
would be like, "Hey, we're sorry that we're gonna have a party." So the way of apologizing would they always bring over plates of
Ah.
food. So like, yeah, I just remember I was like, "Oh man, those are the last times I had the pig roast." It's like you get over and you're like, "Man, where do you get these ribs from?"
Next time you go to pig roast, please text me. I need to know.
Seriously.
I know. I was like, I'm gonna hit that up next time.
And if you want to apologize for any reason, like bring food, like,
Yeah.
that's like apology always accepted.
Yeah, if you,
In that
if you
context.
wrong Mark, he'll take apology via roasted pig.
yeah, it has
flesh.
to be in styrofoam though. It has to be in the styrofoam.
That's right.
Is that it? Is that
Yeah.
all we ate?
I think, yeah, I think that's well, I guess I could say that I went to buy fish and chips in Soto, which I'd passed by a million times and never gone to before. And it was just like a very sweet 1954 burger fish and chip place. What was interesting about them to me, this is going to sound silly, but they have like almost every type of fry there. You can get a hand-cut fry, you can get sweet potato fries, you can get crinkle fries, you can get steak fries, and you can get potato wedges.
You get steak fries.
Yeah. And
Well, damn.
I don't know how that works out for them, sort of like ledger-wise. I mean, I guess you freeze them and they last forever.
Right.
But
Dump it in.
I've never encountered that level
At a
of
fast
They were
option.
like, when people like their French fries. I feel
Yeah.
like.
And I really appreciated that they called the potato wedges and didn't try to call them JoJo's.
Everybody tries to call it JoJo's, and they
Yeah.
don't have the pressure fryer, and they never heard of a pressure fryer, and they try to call it JoJo.
Yeah.
JoJo's.
Don't
It's
get me
specific.
started.
Yep. It's very
It's a
specific, right?
B&W thing.
Yes, I read a story about it for the stranger. And every once in a while, a friend will be like, I'm new in town and I Googled JoJo's and your story came up from 2017 where you lay down the law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to cover it every several years because
Yeah.
people come in and they're trying to pass
People
off
try to call a
potato
fry a
wedges.
JoJo.
Yeah.
You got to do it right.
It's that baked potato interior and like the sealed, crispy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's like
exterior.
a little bit of the dredging, right? Like
Yeah.
there's
It's pressure fryer.
Yeah.
There's a
And
place
the-
in Portland that does Joe's.
Yeah, it's just called JoJo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do JoJo's, and they're shout out, but they can be hit or miss sometimes. I remember
Mm.
going once, and I was like, "Dang, there's too much dredge on it."
Uh-huh.
And then the next time I went, I was like, "Okay, these are right." But they do like big ass, like
Yeah, the whole russet potato.
Yeah,
When
it-
I was a kid, I went to Nova, which is next to Garfield.
Okay, yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
CD, and there was a place called Afro Mart, and they used to
Oh.
have JoJo's, and it was 15 cents for a JoJo. This was like 1997 or something.
Boom.
You would get it in that red and white like hot dog boat,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And we'd get like 5 of them.
Yeah. That's all it
And
fit.
they were the most correct. And they were long as shit. They were like as long as a hot dog.
Yeah.
that's all you need.
That's
Squirt some
the
stuff
true
on top.
Yeah.
JoJo.
That you get a sense of it's almost like an eighth of a potato.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is because it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it is. The
I was
truest JoJo in its truest form. All right, well, should we wrap it up?
That's time to wrap it
Jhonny,
up.
thank
I
you so
think.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Yeah, I
It was
really
fun.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Good party.
Good chat.
We'll be by.
Next week we have Marcus Lolario and Sean Russo
Yes.
from Darkalinos. So we'll
Oh,
be talking.
nice.
We'll be
And
talking
Mazzanotte.
Italian. Yeah. Well,
And Lil Woody's. Well, Marcos owns a bunch of
yeah,
shit.
yeah. But
Yeah.
we'll be talking, I think, primarily Italian American food. with Sean
More
Russo.
Italian American.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
Just
super
kidding.
funny. 'Cause-
Giving you this.
I don't have good food in my lineage, so we have to talk about your lineage.
Yeah, because Darkalinos is they're the ones doing the shoes down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have the home team
The
attached
home
to
team
it.
attached to it. Yeah, because I just
Yeah.
did a collaboration with Winter Circle Skate
Okay.
Club,
cool.
and I guess they're friends and stuff like that. So it was just like really
They're
funny.
also very Seattle Sonics aligned.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, you got it.
that's your spot.
Yeah, and Pioneer Square resurgence too. I think Belltown and
Yeah.
Pioneer Square like really.
I mean, it's old Seattle.
It's old
Yeah.
Seattle.
Yeah, it's old Seattle. I feel
Repping
like
old
where
Seattle
you-
on this. This is a very old
It's
Seattle
really
episode.
where you got to be. It's important. We got to bring it back.
It's important. They don't know.
They
Kids don't know.
don't.
This is maybe
Like
the
it's
most dinnernet episode ever. We're just like talking
Dinnernet-iest.
old Seattle and
When I was a
JoJo's.
child, it's very
yeah.
Emmett Watson.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Keep
oh,
the
I forgot to
bastards
tell you guys
out.
my funny Sonic story.
Oh, yeah,
let's hear it.
Okay. So I used to be a churchgoer back in the day, and the drummer for the church I went to was a mascot, and he was the Squatch.
He was
He was
Squatch?
Sasquatch. He was like 5'5", and he was super nice. But he was the drummer, and he was like, anytime you guys want tickets, you guys can come up. So we would always go to Sonics games, and then people would be begging to see Sasquatch, and he would climb the rafters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
he
he
would.
would climb all the way up to us and like hang out with us and like do all this stuff and always make us.
remember that.
Yeah, and he was just always good. So that's like one of the main reasons why I love the Sonics so much was one, the energy and just going to the stadiums,
Yeah.
and that was just like my childhood. But I was just like, I know Squatch.
Personally, we're
he
friends.
He moved
Yeah.
to OKC with them. So like,
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah,
Whoa,
so,
they
yeah.
They
So,
inherited
so I
Squatch.
lost my drummer and I lost my.
Oh,
Wow.
man. I was made to go to a lot of Sonics games because my dad coached basketball at the Queen Anne Rec Center and at a few different
Oh.
schools as well.
That
And
was good.
I'm quite tall, but quite bad at playing sports, and so I was made to play basketball in middle school.
No, you go to a
I was
Sonics
like,
game and then you go to Dick's and they had seats.
yeah. So we would like go down there all the time to when it was the Coliseum, I guess. It wasn't even
Yeah.
Purina, and like
Yeah.
meet Xavier McDaniel or whatever.
so much.
That's
Yeah,
badass.
that was my. There's a lot of photos of me with like Sonics's.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's cool now. It wasn't cool then
Oh.
because I was like, I'm clumsy. I don't like this. I'd rather be playing the piano and writing stories. But it is fun now.
Jhonny, do you have a favorite Kevin Calabro call that you remember we can maybe leave on?
You know, I don't actually.
Do you, Mark?
You've got to feed the hawk.
That's it. That's a podcast
That's
title.
pretty good, yeah.
That's an episode
I like
title,
that.
folks. Good night. See you next week.
Bye.